All right, guys, we got another one here. SGB Unlimited Honda. I got Dan the Man, Cade Clason, number 78. Only two main events. Two main events, Cade?
Two main events.
Two main event, Cade over there. We're going to talk a little bit about his bike. They switched teams to Honda this year from Kawasaki. So I got Dan to talk about some setup, what Cade's most pickiest about, and a little bit about this whole package here. So get in here closer.
Yeah.
Start about the engine here. What have you done to the engine, and what does Cade prefer?
Cade prefers a really smooth clutch when it comes to that. So we got Hinton going on in there. We did do a high compressing JE piston. But he's pretty easy to work with. So that's really it as far as engine goes.
So basically, a lot of stock parts inside this.
Yeah.
Transmission stock.
Transmission stock. Yep.
The Honda itself produces a lot of horsepower anyway, so I guess it's how it's delivered on the track for Cade, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what ECU are you guys running?
Stock.
Stock ECU. I know Honda has been working hard to try to remedy some situations. Sometimes, like some guys are having flame out problems. So stock ECUs there seem to be more common nowadays with the Supercross paddock for privateers. One, because it's safety reasons. Two, the stock power is pretty good, and the map switch obviously provides you can do different powers: map 1, map 2, map 3. Do you know which map he's in?
I don't actually. He's pretty standard. He's pretty easy to work with, like I said.
What about the suspension? So SGB does all the coatings in-house, and then obviously you send it to Race Tech to go over the settings for Cade. How much has Cade changed his stuff during the year, or has he at all?
Well, actually, we did a little bit of testing this week. We did some whole shot stuff, and then Tuesday we focused on lap times and swapping out springs, different things like that. He changed a little bit of settings in the front forks and a little bit in the rear. But
Are we on a stock link?
stock linkage, yep.
Okay, so overall chassis stock, Race Tech suspension. It's looking like you got
suspension.
SGB Race Tech suspension, right? So give us a little bit of background on SGB and the coatings. How long you guys been doing that? And can any guy come out and just say, hey, I want this color coating, and you guys can do it?
Yeah, any guy can come out, get the coating done, certainly hook you up. I'm doing it for a while now. But yeah, whatever color you want. A lot of people seem to like the rainbow thing going on. So we can certainly hook you up.
Looks like 20 offset on the X-Trig from 22 stock. X-Trig obviously is a big clamp of the stars out here in Supercross world. You see a lot of X-Trig on a lot of these bikes. I noticed that he's not on a higher mount. He's on a standard mount.
Standard mount, yep. I don't know if people realize the X-Trig offers really good circularity. Okay. So when your forks are pivoting and they're doing everything they need to do and slide, those are the best way to go.
And my personal favorite, the Ryder Triangle. Me and Cade argue about this. I'll bring him here in a minute, but looks like he has some different flow pegs, correct?
Yep. He actually goes down 12 millimeter, but these pegs are up 5 mil, so it's pretty much a 7 millimeter drop because it's a little taller. But yeah, that's
an MC bar, which is a pretty low bar.
Yeah, MC bar.
What about, so he's on a lower bend bar. He's down a little bit on his peg. I'm going to talk to him about his mount height. I think he needs to go up on his mount height a little bit to help him in the whoops. This is just my personal opinion here.
I think you're right. Actually, I think you're right.
Okay, good. So I'm glad he's with me on this. Let's talk about the gearing and the wheels. What are you guys using for gearing? What is Cade's gearing choice right now?
Stock on the front sprocket, 50 on the rear. And, I mean, we're running the Mika. They're pretty good. They hold out pretty well. So.
And hubs and wheels and spokes?
Hubs, wheels, and spokes. It's all MotoStar. They've been hooking us up.
Yeah. And no, those are actually, I've never heard of MotoStar, so obviously they're holding up well. No blowouts or nothing.
No blowouts. We actually, they actually come out of New York, like Albany area. And, yeah, they've been sending us wheels and hooking us up.
What is Cade's, like, Cade's hard to deal with. Look, I understand this. What's he most pickiest about on his bike?
Clutch.
So clutch feel or engagement or what?
Clutch engagement. Okay. Specifically off the start.
Okay, we're going to talk to Cade now. We're going to talk about his clutch lever placement, his flow levers, and his Ryder Triangle. All right, here, number 78. Two main events. We have round 6?
We're at 5. We've had 5. We're at 6. I was hurt.
He is the team leader, though. A-Ray has nothing on Cade right now. So, and I love A-Ray, but I will just say, hey, Cade's the better man right now. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about Ryder Triangle. 6'1". 6'1". Really? I'm 6 foot. So, but you're long. Legs are long. So you're on X-Trig mount. You're on 20 offset, which is different. 22 is stock. Let's talk about your peg setup a little bit. You actually enlightened me on something, which is really cool. So talk about your mounts and your pegs and the bars, because MC bend is a lower bend. Say, go ahead.
No, I wanted to open it up. The more open I can feel on the motorcycle, the smaller I look. And when I look smaller, I
Feel better?
I feel better. No, I wanted to make the bike feel like it fit me better. I feel like most motorcycles are made for someone a little bit shorter than me. So yeah, the mounts I got, I believe, are from STR. I bought them. You know, they're the only ones I could find that.
How long did it take you to search that? Because I've been looking for people to make different offset mounts, and I haven't found it. So that's kudos to you.
Google, man, like 10 minutes.
Nope. I guess I'm getting old.
Yeah. So yeah, they're like 12 mil lower, which is actually significant, but the pegs we run are actually 5 mil higher.
So it offsets a little bit.
A little bit. So they're like 7 lower, which is about right. When I ran the Cowie last year, it was about 5 lower with how they have their 2-hole option. So it's kind of right where I wanted to be, and it was like instantaneous, a big difference for me. It helps me get my knees back a lot, because if I ride with my knees too far forward, I don't control the back end as well. So when I can control the back end of the bike, my whole riding style is 10 times better.
So from the Kawasaki last year, and now you're riding the Honda, is it easier to grip between your legs with the Honda versus the Cowie?
I think for me, whenever the pegs are lower on either bike, it's pretty similar. This bike almost feels narrower to me, so it was a different feeling for sure. But once I got used to it, but this bike also feels more open, so that's what I was looking for. So I would say that this bike's a little bit easier for me to ride. Yes.
You're on a standard height foam?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't like that?
Nope. So this is what I'm going to talk about now. So when I watch you through the whoops, I'm a big-time daytime program guy. So they show a lot of you on practice, qualifying. I get to see a lot.
I don't think I've been on daytime qualifying once this year. I've been in A practice.
No, I've been watching.
Okay.
So been watching you during the day. I was here at A1 personally watching you, and then obviously at home watching it on the computer. I feel like with you, you're a little bit too hunched in the whoops. I feel like with the low bend bar, which I didn't know you ran MC bend, you could go up a little bit on your mount, which could help you in the whoop section. And Dan the man, the mechanic, even said that I think I could be right.
I have thought deeply about this, and it is something I'm going to be trying when I get back east.
So they have 3 millimeter and 5.
They do. I ran a 10 mil one last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was excessive. But I ran a really low bar. I just liked how it felt because we were with a different company. So I had to run a bigger one. But it will be tried soon because I did run a way higher bar mount. But this whole setup is higher than what I ran last year, because last year I was on the different brand mount. And it felt lower, like the mounts themselves were lower. These mounts are actually higher. So I started here, and I actually felt really comfortable with it. But, yeah, I have been thinking about switching over and trying to get higher with it, because it's just going to open it up more, right?
Yeah, so you're on a low bend bar, and I guess for the people that are watching this at home that ride dirt bikes, if you're on a lower, flatter bar, that will help you in the corner. But there's also a give and take for standing up, right? So you don't want to be hunched back a little bit like Cade is in the whoop. So you want to have a straighter bar so you can get in the corner and have it low enough where you feel comfortable, right? But Cade is right. These PHDS X-Trig mounts from the Honda stock mount is 2 millimeters higher. It's amazing how I know this, right? It's like I've done some work. And I do feel like you can go plus 3 more. I think that'll be a 5 mil gain from the stock Honda mount. But I like that you run a lower bar, even though you're a taller dude. And I think some of the old school way is I want to get a Honda CRF high band and have all this height in the bar, but you need to get the height from the mount and run a flatter bar.
I like it. Okay. I'm cool with it. I want to be like RC and just roll them things back and put them in my lap. That's where I think I'll get some speed.
All right, real quick, because this is a techie kind of video. Compare your Honda engine versus your Cowie engine.
Dude, this thing's fast.
Yep.
Like, when I first got on it, it was quite impressive. My Cowie was good, but I honestly felt last year I was lacking a little bit on the starts, and I don't have that problem now. I've actually been trying to, like, dial it back a little bit. Race Tech built me a rocket, and I was joking yesterday that I needed more power. And they're like, you want more power? We're dropping a motor off tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I'm good. So it's quite impressive how much power this is. And It's really good on the track. It's hard. It was hard for me at first to control it off the grate. I'm getting more comfortable with it now. I think you can obviously see my starts are god awful, but I think it's just me controlling all this power off the grate is my biggest thing.
Mechanics said you're super picky about your clutch and where it engages, and just overall, it's pretty far out there. You got big hands, obviously.
Yeah, I got big hands, so I run it really far out, but I don't want it to engage like at my knuckles. Like I want it to engage pretty far out, and since I ride with my fingers on the levers basically all the time, it opens my hands up a little bit and reduces arm pump, man. We don't get arm pump over here.
Speaking of arm pump, you got different engine mounts. This bike is a rigid bike stock, pretty stiff. I don't know if you noticed that coming from your Cowie, but I noticed that it's pretty rigid. I'm older than you, so I feel like I want a softer bike. But for you guys that ride Supercross and are harder on machines, you might feel like you need a stiffer chassis. But it looks like you're going softer up on the mounts.
Yeah, we did that just literally for comfort, right?
Like slap down landings and things like that? Or touch, initial touch?
Not so much the touch. I would say more like flat corner stuff. I just wanted a little bit more flex. That way I don't feel every little thing just quite as much. And that's what I ran the same mounts on my Cowie, and that's just what I noticed the most. I mean, I still have stock mounts on my practice bike. So it's not like life or death. It's just, it is a little bit of a comfort thing. Like when I have those on, it just feels a little bit better.
All right, last question. We're going back east. I feel like you do better when we go back east. You're much more comfortable with that kind of dirt. So we're going to see this thing in the main event more when we go back east. I mean, we're at A3 right now. We expect to be there in the main tonight or tomorrow. But how are we feeling about going back east?
Oh, I'm excited, man. I just can't. Just get me out of this place. I hate California so much. I mean, it's great and all, but I hate hard packed dirt. You know, I want lots of ruts and slower tracks and, yeah.
More technical stuff.
Yeah, exactly. More technical stuff. I mean, we raced basically all East Coast rounds last year, and that's probably partially why it was my best year. But yeah, I'm excited to get back there. I love it, and I get to be back at club and around everything I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, speaking of club, real quick, I feel like that's helped you a lot, being with guys that you can ride with a lot, good dudes to practice with every day, and the tracks are good. So obviously you pay a pretty penny to go back there, right?
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
I was joking with Pelletier. He's like, you're only allowed in the Club MX tent if they say it's okay. I said, I pay him enough money. I better be allowed in there. Yeah. But no, I mean, that place is like home to me. I've been there for so long. And, I mean, we've got 3 Supercross tracks, like 6 outdoor tracks. It's worth every penny. I mean, my brother's there now, too. So it's definitely the place to be. And, you know, we have a great group of guys. And we have 2 trainers basically full-time on the Supercross track. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, number 78, SGB Unlimited Honda. We'll see him in the main event, right?
That's the plan.
There you go.